ਇਉਂ ਬਿਨ ਰਾਵੇ ਨਾਰ। ਸੱਚ ਧੜੀ ਤਨ ਮੰਡੀਐ ਕਾਪੜ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਸਿੰਗਾਰ। ਚੰਦਨ ਚੀਤ ਵਸਾਇਆ ਮੰਦਰ ਦਸਵਾਂ ਦਵਾਰ। ਦੀਪਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਿਗਾਸਿਆ ਰਾਮ ਨਾਮ ਰਹਾਰ। ਅੰਦਰ ਸੋਮਣੀ ਮਸਤਕ ਮਣੀ ਪਿਆਰ। ਨਾਰੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਮਸਤਕ ਮਣੀ ਪਿਆਰ। ਸੋਭਾ ਸੁਰਤ ਸੁਹਾਵਣੀ ਸਾਚੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਅਪਾਰ। ਬਿਨ ਹਰ ਪੁਰਖ ਨ ਜਾਣਏ ਸਾਚੇ ਗੁਰ ਕੇ ਹੇਤ ਪਿਆਰ। ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਇਉਂ ਬਿਰ ਰਾਵੇ ਨਾਰ। ਨਿਸੀ ਅੰਧਿਆਰੀ ਸੁਤੀਏ ਕਿਉਂ ਪਿਰ ਬਿਨ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਿਹਾਰ। ਅੰਕ ਜਲੋ ਤਨ ਜਾਲਿਓ ਮਨ ਧਨ ਜਲ ਵਲ ਜਾਏ। ਜਾ ਧਨ ਕੰਤ ਨਾ ਰਾਵਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਰਥਾ ਜੋ ਬਨ ਜਾਏ। ਸੇਜੇ ਕੰਤ ਮਹੇਲੜੀ ਸੁਤੀ ਬੂਝ ਨ ਪਾਏ। ਹਾਂ ਸੁਤੀ ਫਿਰ ਜਾਗਣਾ ਕਿਸ ਕਾ ਪੂਛੋ ਜਾਏ। ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਮੇਲੀ ਭੈ ਵਸੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਸਖਾਏ। ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਇਉਂ ਫਿਰ ਰਾਵੇ ਨਾਰ। ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵਨ ਸੁਹਾਗਣੀ ਤੁਧ ਭਾਵਨ ਸੁਹਾਗਣੀ। ਆਪਣੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਲੈ ਹੋ ਸਵਾਰ। ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਇਉਂ ਫਿਰ ਰਾਵੇ ਨਾਰ। In our last sitting, we started the new Vani, and the first hymn was dedicated to the ultimate creative energy, and the journey was started by surrendering to the highest of all, and we started the journey by saying Baba Alloho Agam Apar Paki Nai Pak Thaye Sacha Parvardagar. That was the rahau of that hymn. So the next step now is, if these are the qualities and qualifications and characteristics of the ultimate creative energy, then the one who tries to become like him, what are the characteristics there? What do we find there? How is the metamorphosis taking place? How are the changes taking place in that entity who is trying to become like that one? What are the changes that are required? What are the qualifications there? And the hymn is Har Jiyo Iun Pir Rave Nar. Literally translated, Pir means a husband and Nar means wife. The creative energy is being, that's the metaphor being taken. He is the husband of us all, and we are all the wife. Okay, now the wife has a job to do, which is what? To earn the happiness and blessing of the husband. Now how does he do it? And that is where the journey starts. Har jiyo, eon pir raave nar. This is how those who have pleased him, this is how they have done it. These are the changes they brought within themselves. And what is this? If they brought those changes within themselves, then what happened? Tud bhavan sohagani apni kirpa lehe savar. If they did the right thing, in the right way, and that pleased you, then it has been known throughout the time, that you have always graced, you always have blessed, you have never discriminated that this one is okay and this one is not that. That's his quality. That he takes no sides. He does not pick and choose. Tud bhavan sohagani. Tenu jo changa laga. If you liked it, you accepted it, and then what happened? Apani kirpa. Then you gave the grace. Leho savar. Then that life has been now completed. So, let's look at them. Sabbe kant maheliyan, sagliyan kare sigar. See, looking around, all around us, we find that multitude of entities are trying to please you in their own way. Sabbe kant maheliyan, all of different types, different varieties, maheliyan, different types of people are attempting to do what? Sagliyan kare sigar. Shingar karna literally means to dress up, to make yourself pretty, to make yourself desirable. So the metaphor is of the wife trying to please the husband. So what does she do? Right? At least in our part of the world where we are brought up from, we know that as the evening starts coming down and there is a time for the husband to come home, even the mother-in-laws get after their daughter-in-laws. Stop what you're doing. Go, take care of yourself, dress up yourself. Meaning what? The mindset there is that after days hard work, as the man is coming, and if there is an alluring body to welcome him, then his fatigue will not have as much impact on his body as otherwise would have been. So the mother-in-laws insist that their daughter-in-laws dress themselves up and do the makeup, wear the right clothes, the right ornaments, decorate themselves to welcome the husband coming back into home. That is, in our language, shingar karna. So he says, now that is the metaphor used from this life and applied to that life. If we are desirous of meeting that husband, then won't we have to prepare and dress ourselves the way he would like us to? Wouldn't we have to make those changes? Answer is obviously yes. And Gurbani starts with that stuff. They say, multitude of souls are preparing themselves, are decorating themselves with different types of ornaments. Now, what are those ornaments? Right, this body is going to be here. When we go there, this body is certainly wearing the dress or ornaments or lipsticks or rouges or eyelashes is not going to be meaningful in that dimension. So how do we decorate ourselves then? Isn't it interesting? How does the soul get ready to meet the ultimate soul? And that question will be answered here. What changes do you need to bring? so that you are welcomed, that when you see, when you meet, you are immediately pleasing to the person who you are meeting. Gard ganavan aiyan suha ves vikar. So the first misstep is indicated right here. Gard ganavan aiyan, hisab kitab, to count. How many times I have done this and how many times I have done that. Isn't it? Don't we do that? I have been, all my life I have been going to church, to mandir, to masjid, to gurdwara, right? I have never missed a Sunday. I have done my rosas and I have done my this and I have done. You see? That's counting. Keeping a track of what you are doing. As if that means anything. Right? And there's a beautiful metaphor I always share with you, that and it's so powerful image, that when this Sufi Fakir Bulle Shah was just getting started on that path, got up early morning and was going to get some milk. So he went to the cow herder, and the people are early morning, they are all standing in the line, and he's getting the fresh milk and is measuring and putting in the pots, and he's charging everybody depending upon what they are buying. So he's standing in the line, and after a while somebody else came and stood behind him. So this guy, this businessman, saw that guy standing behind Bulle Shah and said, "Don't stand in the line, come over." So he broke the line and went ahead of the line. And whatever he says, bring your bucket. So he gave him his bucket. So whatever was in the bucket here, he just put all of it in his bucket. And then he started to pay him and said, "Don't worry about it, just go." And Bulle Shah is watching all of that. So when Bulle Shah's turn comes, he says, "Now, before I buy the milk from you, I have to ask you one question. That guy who was standing behind me, you neither measured the milk, nor he waited for his turn, nor you charged him any money. What's the secret?" There's no secret. He's my friend. There's never any exchange in friends. Two friends, his house is like my house. His children are like my children. So he's taking the milk. And the Bulle Shah got the shock of his life. You mean to tell me that amongst the friends there has to be no counting? Well, that's not friendship. That's business. In friendship there is never any accounting. Then I count every day. Have I done 5 namaz or not? So that means I am not even yet a friend to him. And Bulle Shah writes that became his first teacher. That when you are going on that path, you have to stop the habit of counting. How many times I have done this? How long I have done this? How many days? How many weeks? Months? Years? That mindset has to be dropped. And that's what he's talking about here. Ganata ganavan aiyan suha ves vekar. They are trying to please you, but at the same time they cannot drop the habit of keeping counts. And then what happens? Suha ves vikar. All of the makeup, suha ves means, suha literally means red, like this. This is suha, which is considered an auspicious color for weddings and marriages and all that. So, लाल कपड़े पाए और सारे बेकार हो गए. Means what? All of the ritualistic aspect that we did. If I still remember that I am X number of years old and I have gone every week, I take 52 and multiply by the number of years that I have done this so many times. then whatever I have done is wasted completely. Because the inner paradigm is still is of a business, a transaction. I give you so much, you do this much. It got all wasted. Why? Pakhand prem na paiye. Pakhand. Pakhand literally means which is outer presentation is different than what the inner thought is. When there is that much of a gap between inner and outer, and unfortunately, that's how we have grown up. Isn't it? I mean, I am constantly caught in this type of a dichotomy when some people will come to me and say, why you say that? It hurts others. So, what should the truth be modified because it's hurting others? Yeah, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do that. And I have to constantly say, if that is your paradigm, then I am not for you. I'm sorry. Sach purana hove nahi. The truth has always been like this. But we constantly, even in today's day-to-day life, only last Sunday I was sharing with somebody exactly on the same point, that what is politically suitable and politically correct is considered to be the right thing to do. Give you an example. A little child is running around and there are guests sitting and the mother is cooking and giving the hot roti, hot chapatis and hot meals to the guest. And the child is serving. Now the child is hungry himself, but the mother is saying, let first the guests eat. So he comes to the guest and says, how much more you have to eat? And the mother says, that was not the right thing to do. Was it not the right thing to do? Think about it. We teach, all of us, including ourselves, well, this is politically not a nice thing to say, nice thing to do. Well, it will hurt him. So what have we done in this? We have taken the responsibility of how he or she feels on ourselves. Is it not? Think about it. Is it my word that is hurting, or is it the reaction to that word that is hurting? Let me repeat that. What is the hurt? Is it because to the action or because of the chosen reaction? Because my action has given birth to multiple of reactions. Is it not? You can ignore it all. You can accept it all. You can take half of it, reject half of it. You can just ignore it as a mumbling of a stupid manner. But if you have chosen, he should not do that. Isn't it your choice rather than mine? So what is hurting then? My action or your reaction? Always the reaction. In nature, whatever is hurting is always the reaction. It's never the action. And the ladies in the crowd particularly need to take notice of that. And I tell you why. Because the feminine energy is constantly in an effort to modify the action of the man. Constantly. And then they get hurt. Why? Because the man is not changing. But they would not change their reaction to it, not recognizing the fact that it isn't the action, it is the reaction. And that is called pakhand. When you are saying something else and doing something else. And the problem in the spiritual world is that between you and I, the reality can be hidden. Right? You don't know what my intentions are. I don't know what your intentions are. But we are exchanging the words. We can say something else and constantly hammer, no, I didn't mean that. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't want to say that. Right? We can constantly modify that because you really can't say inside me. And I can keep on insisting with the language and you can keep coming back. So, but wait a minute, your words are that, but your actions are that. Now, between the two humans, that exchange is taking place and it can take place till ad infinitum. That drama does not go too far when the action and reaction is between him and you. There the transaction breaks because when you say this is what I meant, he already knows what you meant. There you cannot continue. Say, oh no, God, I didn't mean that. God already knows what you meant. Regardless of words you use, regardless of what actions you did, He already knows that. Between you and your Creator, there is no judge, there is no jury, there is no witness, there is no prosecutor, there is no defense. It's just you and Him. And He knows exactly in the complete raw form as to what the intentions were. Because of that, reality of life, pakhand prem na paiye. Sheikh Farid says, Jin man hor, mukh hor, se kade kachya. Those in this world, in the spiritual world, have different words in the mouth and different feelings in the heart. They should be taken away. They are kache. They are raw. They are not fit for that journey at all. Because in that journey, you have to exactly acknowledge what it is. Regardless of how hurtful, how cruel, because that's how you will change. Otherwise you will not change. You will camouflage it. You will fall into the self-deception. No, I am not like that. It's only because she does it, I do it. No, she may be the catalytic agent to get the reaction started, but the reaction is taking place inside you. Catalytic agent can never ever be held responsible for any process. Go ask any scientist. Right? We take the hydrogen, we take the oxygen, we want to put the electrolysis and we put a platinum wire in there so the platinum wire remains exactly the way it is. It doesn't dissolve itself, it doesn't do anything. It just is a catalytic agent to get the reaction started. And same thing happens with the human mind-body system. The outsiders are only catalytic agent. They are just an excuse to trigger an energy that's inside you. And the responsibility has to be taken by the reactionary, not the actionary. If you are to follow on the journey of spirituality. Now, on the outer world, the opposite may be true. There I can accept that. In the world of business, the commerce, in the world of society, social interactions, you can play that drama. But in the spiritual world, you cannot play that drama at all because he knows it all. Deception can take place in the outer world. That's what the courts are all about. One attorney saying this and proving this to be right, the other attorney saying this and proving this to be right and this to be wrong. What is the reality? Nobody knows. Because nobody is going to tell the reality. Nobody is going to admit the reality. So, a beautiful message in this line says, Pakhand prem na paiye. You are not going to win him over with having a split personality. Inside something else, outside something else. What will happen? Khota paj khuar. Khota means bad coin. Paj means image. Khwar means waste. It will be a total wastage of energy and effort. So don't blame anybody. I am doing everything, but I don't know what's happening. God is not for me. God is for my neighbor, but it's not for me. And say, Har jiyo, iyon per narave nar tud bhavan sohagani, and Gurbani affirms it. Understand, he is not discriminatory. He does not play favors. Male, female, Indian, American, black, white. He does not play favors. He is completely the same. If the process is, then what should be the process? Having said that duality would not let you go, but this will take you further, which is Gur Shabdi Shigariya Tan Man Pir Ke Paas Doe Kar Jod Khadi Takke Sach Kahe Ardas Lal Rati Sach Bhaivasi Bhai Rati Rangras. Gur Shabdi Singariya. So brings us back to the process, which is that word, that Shabad, that has been given to you by the Guru. You use that to uplift yourself. Shigar, right? Earlier pehla aaya si na, sagliyan kare shigar. Kehte oh shigar jehda hai, that is not going to be helpful. That makeup is not going to help you. But if you take the advice of your master, the way he has told you how to bring the mind-body system into a single point, single energy, if you have done that decoration, and what's the next stage? Tan man pir ke paas. That you have surrendered all of your I, all of your ego to him. And then, doe kar jod khadi takke. Kar means hands. Have you ever noticed? Do you know what's the genesis of when we receive each other? Either we shake hand or we fold hands. Have you ever noticed why we do that? Anybody, any thoughts to this? No? We've been doing all of our life. We fold hands. Why we do that?
I bow to the God in you from the God.
Yeah, but what's the idea of folding the hands?
Touching.
मैं hands की गल कर रहा हूँ.
Touching.
नहीं. मैं अपने दोनों हाथ जोड़े हैं ना.
Surrender. Ego.
The life moves in two dimensions. Okay? And when I'm meeting you, I'm becoming one. All of my diversities have been brought, and first I, who am scattered otherwise, I am becoming one. Folding of the hands represent that I am receiving you with a single-mindedness, no duality in it. In other words, whatever you will say, I will take it the way you say it rather than giving my own meaning to it. I will not add anything from me because I am one. I am not many when I am meeting you. And the bowing is, of course, surrendering, that I am humble, humility. I am not coming in arrogance to you. I am receiving you in humility, and my duality has become one. So whatever I receive, it will be received in a humility and with single-mindedness. Because otherwise, you may say something else, and I may interpret it totally differently. And I am promising you that no, I will not add anything because I am not though. I am only one. So I will not add anything to what you give me. When we shake hands, we are expressing that I am coming in friendship with you, I am not, see, my hands are open. There is no armament hidden. That's why shaking hands. Embracing also came from the same thing. But with the modern world getting little nuts, these things have lost their meaning. But embracing meant also that not only my hands are open, my body is also completely open. There's nothing hidden. I am not coming to hurt you. I'm coming in friendship. So these greetings had some meaning. Eskimos rub noses. Why? What is the coldest part of the body when there is providing the body heat? I am sharing my body to send you the warmth of my body, rubbing the noses. The greetings had different meanings in different cultures. So, doe kar jod khadi, this is where we started from. Doe kar jod. Why doe kar jod? That's why I was saying. In his world, being multifaceted is totally contraindicated. You have to be one. You can't be going to him say, I am here to meet you and see you. Oh, but by the way, I have a business running where nowadays the profit margins are a little less. Can you just help in that area too? कोटा पूरा नहीं हो रहा इंश्योरेंस था कुछ 4 कस्टमर हमें भेज दे.
Why not?
Now that's duality. So doe kar jod does not mean folding the hands. It has a metaphysical meaning in it. Spiritual meaning in it. तो की कर रही है? दोए कर जोड़ खड़ी थके सच कहे अरदास. What is the ardas? What is the prayer? I need the ultimate truth. That's the only demand. If there is any other demand hidden, then दोए कर जोड़ने को फायदा नहीं. फिर पाखंड हो गया. See how the words are linked with each other, the lines, how the thought process are linked. लाल रति सच भय वसी भाई रति रंगरास. Now that red color, लाल रति, suha, and now it makes sense. Now it will become meaningful. Why? Because the color is not being looked from the outside now. It's being looked at from the inside. It is the inner views that are being converted. They are being given a different shade. Right now, when we change clothes, the only color that is being shown is to the outer world. Right? The body remains the same. Wearing the red clothes doesn't make my body red or my mind red. It remains the same. But in a spiritual path, what is required is to change the color of the inner being, not the outer. Outer is for the outside world. It doesn't mean that you should not change the clothes and say, okay, bhai, sara kapda hi ko pana hai. That's not what I'm saying. Saying that when you're dealing with the outer world, deal the way you are. But when you're dealing with the inner world, understand the real changes, real meaning that's required. Priki cheri kandiye lali mane now. Priya means the husband, the lover. The priya ki cheri kandiye. If you want to find out, you can literally pick them out of the crowd. You will find them. It's very easy to recognize them. Ki nishani ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਲੀ ਮਾਨੇ now. The only color that sounds good to her is his name. She's not willing for any other topic. Lali mane now. You're going to sit down with me, talk to me about him. Either tell me something about him or listen to me for something about him. Or if we have nothing to talk about, let's meditate. Very boring company, isn't it? I assure you, it becomes very exciting company at a certain stage of life. In the beginning, it is so. I'll accept that. Because we come from the world of many. We have not started yet enjoying the world of one. You know, I think Rekha probably can identify with that. The Vipassana Center in San Francisco. You know what's their first requirement? For first 3 days, thou shalt say nothing. You are not even going to say, give me the milk or water, can I have food? It will be provided to you when the right time comes. Thou shalt stay in the ashram for 3 days and 3 nights without even asking somebody, how are you? And anybody who cannot do that for 3 days would be told to go home. It sounds stupid, isn't it? What's the harm of asking somebody, how are you? Well, the harm is that the mind is still longing to talk, to chat. The chattering has to be shut down. That monkey has to be put away before you can start any serious work. So there will be urge, and it will sound, and people have come to me and told me, I got nuts, I became crazy, I have to say something. I am willing to pay all this, and I am willing to go through the 10 days of the meditation, please let me talk. No, we don't need your money, please go. So, from the world of many to come to the world of a single thing is a long journey. A lot of people find me extremely boring person because unless I'm talking about this, I'm completely shut up. So most of the people don't invite me to the parties now. I'll be just sitting and watching everybody. Don't you get tired of... Actually, one of my friends was like, don't you get tired of sitting quietly? And I said, aren't you asking the opposite question? Energy is expended when you move your jaws. Tiring should be when you are talking, not when you are not talking. How can you just sit with the closed eyes and with the mouth closed and just leave me alone? A time comes when it becomes extremely enjoyable. There's a beautiful parable in a Zen master. 3 Zen masters are walking through the jungle. And none of them said anything to each other all day walking around. And when they came back, one of them said, it was a beautiful walk. And the master said, you talk too much. Oh. That urge. Think about it. Knowing about something is not knowing something. So this statement is about what? It was a beautiful walk. It is about walking. That means the doer is different than the act. If the walker was in the walk, there will be no statement. And you experience walking only when you are in the walk. When you look at a leaf, a flower, you look the flower. You can smell it, you know about something about the smell. You can touch it, you know something about the texture. But you don't know the flower. You may even take it to the laboratory, cut it, chop it, boil it, grind it, find out all the chemicals in it. But do you know the flower? To know the flower, you shall have to become the flower. You will know a lot about the flower. That's information about the parts of that flower. These are the leaves, these are the branches, these are the leaves, these are the petals, and these are the compounds in it. But in order to know that, don't we have a quotation that you have to walk in the shoes of somebody to know how it pinches? Mm-hmm. From the outside, you may be able to describe it, but you really don't know it. You have to step into the shoes. In order to know the flower, you really have to become the flower. And the scientist is so confident that he knows everything about the flower. He knows nothing what flower is. He doesn't know its softness. He doesn't know its fragrance. He doesn't know how he moves when the wind blows. He doesn't know when it freezes. He has no idea. So, in the spiritual world, what happens? Pri ki cheri kandiye lali mane now. That's the only thing. One word become one with one. Sachi preet na tutai, sache mel milao. Nothing is going to divert this entity from that path. Sachi preet na tuti. What happens to us now? Well, I was following Vedant for so long and it didn't help. Then I followed Radha Swamis and they didn't help. And then I followed this Swamiji and they didn't help. Now I am on my own, I am studying this. I'll see. How do you know? What pulls you to try this and that and that and that? Excitement. An immediate return on investment. All paths eventually lead to him, if followed correctly, is followed with sincerity. Because the paths have nothing to do with the outer world, it's all in the inside. The changes have to take place inside. If the inner is not changing, which is my greed coming down, is my anger coming down, is my attachment coming down, is my ego coming down, the changes are here. If anything to do, it adds to those rather than subtracting from those. It doesn't matter what process you follow, you will be in the same trap. Whether you read Krishnamurti or Acharya Rajneesh, it won't matter anything.
Why is it so different than in Christianity? Because they say that's the only way. And we say all of them lead to the same.
No. That's marketing.
But they brainwash.
That's pure marketing. Jesus never said that. No mystic can say that is the only way. Look, the statement was, I is the way. It didn't sound grammatically correct. They changed it to I am the way. And then I got associated with Jesus. That he is saying, I am the way. The parable in Christianity is, I is the way. Means what? ego is what separates you. Ego is what will combine you. You start working on the ego, I. You separated from him as a birth, you became I and he became him. Even though that's not the reality. Your outer shell is different, your inner core is exactly what he is. So take that I and start working on it and surrendering to him, and that is the way. It's a universal law. I separates you, I combines you. Jesus is one of the most misunderstood and misquoted mystic in the history of mankind. He never came and died for anybody. The whole thing is built on, I died for your sin. What sin? I don't even know you. Jesus didn't have to die at all. And the reality is Jesus didn't die. You go to Kashmir and you can still find where he spent the last days of his life. Documented. The problem is that these things, if you expose them, it hits at the core of an establishment. And the resistance to that would automatically come. You are hitting at close to 1 billion people's belief system. Why would they want to change? Why is there is no discussion allowed about Quran? Same reason. There are 1.2 billion people making, living life under a certain set of rules. If you challenge those rules, what happens? The same thing has happened to Sikhism. It's only 300 years old religion. You can't challenge them. They immediately come out to you, you are a heretic. You are a blasphemic. You are a government agent. You are the enemy of the religion. They give you all kinds of titles. Then what? That's very easy to shut these voices down. That's why spirituality is never for the masses. It's always an individual endeavor. A handful of people. That's it. Jesus is one individuality in the consciousness of mankind, which was marketed in such a way that they divided the time. Isn't it? Before Christ, after Christ. That title is available to nobody other than Jesus. Nobody talks about before Buddha, after Buddha, or before Muhammad, after Muhammad. Nobody talks about those things. Only Jesus, the marketing. They started measuring the time from there. And time creates individuality, time and space. So, I don't know who believes that, but I can tell you that I have same level of honor and respect for Jesus as I have for Nanak. And I would not misquote him. He is a Brahmagyani. He is a soul one with the one. These people don't come to divide the world, they come to unite the world. And it's a tragedy that we end up actually dividing in their name. Take them, use them as an excuse and create division. Same thing happened to Gobind Singh. The person who writes Manas ki jaat sab ekay pehchanbo, right? Everybody knows this is what Guru Gobind Singh said. Whole humanity, Manas, whole humanity has come out of one. The one who says that, how would he create division? Himself. He will say, I am going to establish, here is a Hindu, here is a Muslim, here is a Sikh. Would he do that? Jagat jot jape nisbasar ek bina man ek na aane. That's Guru Gobind Singh. You will only serve and you will only worship the one creative energy that is alive all the time. Jagat jot. Would he say that you start worshipping a Granth? How can a Brahmgyani have a separate personality? We have split personalities, so we take chunks of it and formulate it. When Krishna said, Aham Brahmasi, how has it been translated? Krishna says, Main Brahma. And he's saying, I is that. Not I the Krishna. The identity inside everyone is that. That's the Brahm. You think any Vedanti is going to listen to me on that and say, shut up, you don't know Sanskrit. How you can translate this? Which was what said about Guru Nanak. Dayanand's first book said exactly that. How can he wanted to be a Jnani, but he doesn't even know a Sanskrit. How can he be a Jnani? The founder of Arya Samaj had that opinion about Nanak. Go read his book. So, we went on a tangent simply on your question. Please understand, spiritual masters are not responsible for the ritualistic propaganda of the organizers of a system. They just took what convenient and what sells at that time, and then slowly those become tradition. Brahmgyani cannot utter anything other than the ultimate truth. And he will not compromise. You can kill them, crucify them, do whatever you want. They will not deviate from that. So, Sachi Preet na trutai sache mel manao, milao, Shabdrati man vedya. Shabdrati man vedya. Vedya jana means literally vinaya jana. To get pierced by that word, through and through. Shabdrati man vedya ho sadbal hare jao. How? The ego, the ahankar, the aham, hangata, that is completely surrendered. Only then you recognize what the real truth is. I, as it exists, cannot perceive, conceive, or experience that I as it is. You have to be completely empty of that consciousness. And then something happens. जब हम होते तब तू नहीं, तो फिर अब तू ही मैं नहीं. When the I is there, you are not. When you are, I cannot exist. It's eternal law. It is not an Indian or American or European law. जब हम होते तब तू नहीं, अब तू ही मैं नहीं. Now, if you get to that stage, here is the real definition. Sadhan rand na baisai. That is the guaranteed thing. What's run? A woman whose husband is dead. रंडी हो जाना, विधवा हो जाना. A wife who's left behind when husband's dead. He says, if your relationship with him becomes such, you will never be with him. You will never. Why? Because he never dies. Na o mare, na ho ve sog. You will never have to be sad. You will never have to mourn. You will never have to change your clothes. You will never have to change your shigar. Why? Because now you are married to the ultimate husband of all. साधन रंड न बैसई जे सतगुर माहे समाए फिर रिसालू नवतनो साचो मरे ना जाए. Since he does not die ever, he was never born, you will always be navtana, nama, always new, always alive. नित रहे सुहागणी साची नदर सजाए साची नदर रजाए. That means your I don't know if there is a equivalent word in English of sohag. Sohagan hona. Is there a word for that?
Married?
Huh?
Married?
Eternally married, is there a... Sohagan is eternally married. I don't know if there is a equivalent English word. I can't find one. But that's an eternally married woman. Sohagan. साच धड़ी धन मांडिये कापड़ प्रेम सिंगार चंदन चीत वसाया मंदिर दसवां द्वार दीपक शब्द विगासया राम नाम उरहार. That's now the enjoyment of that relationship, which is what? Sach dhadi man dhan mandiye. Dhan means the woman. She is now decorated with what? Sach. The ultimate truth, inside and outside. And there is a now resonance of soundless sound. Ram Nam Urdhar. Ur means heart. From within that sound is now constantly playing inside. Chandan Chit Vasaya Mandir Daswan Dwar. That word Chandan. Chandan is a natural born wood which has a natural fragrance. It's the only tree known that never lets its fragrance die. You can bring the Chandan wood, cut it into pieces. Every piece has fragrance. That is how that word has gone inside. Part of every fiber. चंदन चीत दिवसा. एंड हुण मंदिर केड़ा है जिथे पूजा होंदी पई है? दसवां द्वार. The 10th. The 9 houses from which the energy goes outside. What are those 9 houses? We have talked about that. 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, mouth, and the secretion of the body. Right? 2, 2 4, 6, 7, and 2 for the waste of the body. Those are the 9 doors out of which the energy goes out. If these are all mastered, then the 10th door opens. Some people call it third eye, some people call it Daswan Dwar. The 10th. Say, that is where the mind-body system is constantly residing. Deepak Shabd Vigasya Ram Nam Urahar. Now there is a light within. Right? Those who have experienced that, they can tell you what that means. The outer light becomes so meaningless once you have a taste of the inner light. What happens to us now when we close our eyes? Right? I mean, we can stay awake and close our eyes and try to look. What do we see? Just darkness. But then, when you get there, that darkness disappears. There's nothing but light. नारी अंदर सोहणी मस्तक मणि प्यार शोभा सुरत सुहावणी साचे प्रेम अपार बिन पुर पुरख न जाने साचे गुर के हेत प्यार. Nari andar sohani. See, the whole topic is from what's going inside, under, inner. It's the inner beauty. इसीलिए वो that poet said ना, सीरत के हम गुलाम हैं सूरत हुई तो क्या सुर्खों सफेद मट्टी की मूरत हुई तो क्या. सीरत के हम गुलाम हैं. सीरत मीन्स द नेचर, स्वभाव, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. सीरत के हम गुलाम हैं सूरत हुई तो क्या. If the outer face, the beauty is there, so what? You can take, it says, surkho safed matti ki moorat hui to kya. You can take a potter's clay and create as beautiful a doll as you want. Can you do something with it? You can look at it, it's very beautiful. It's painted very well. It's very soft. It's very round. But what can you do with it? Because there is no characteristics in it. Hence, what you need is the characteristics.
What is the last line? Sirko safed?
Surkho. Surkho safed. Surkho safed matti ki moorat hui to kya.
Red and white. Pinkish.
Nari andar sohani mastak mani pyar. And the thought process, the soul has been cleansed, the ego is dissolved, and now the thought process, mastik. What's the thought process here? Mani pyar. Only love. Think about it. Can a common man stand that nature? If a woman says, I love every man, what do you think the man is going to do? How difficult it is. Why? Because we believe in owning the skin, the bones. We have no value for what's going on inside. So that's a politically correct statement now. You love me and only me and nobody else. You can't even have loving words for somebody. Whereas a mystic, a spiritualist, is in love with the whole creation. Which is what happened to Mirabai. Read her story. She saw Krishna in everyone. You're Krishna, he's Krishna, she's Krishna, everybody's Krishna. And when finally she is going to be murdered, and the husband sends the poison, and she's being told, your husband is saying, if you cannot be my wife, then drink this poison and die. And she takes this and drinks it. Krishna has sent me, how can I refuse it? What is the state of existence of such an individual? Think about it. Just take any one characteristics of a Brahmajnani, just one, and say, I'm going to work to just bring that one. I'm going to leave everything else. Sarmad is being chopped by the executioner. And the first thing he does, he chops it 2 feet. And the blood gushes out, and he takes the both hands and puts on his face and looks at him and say, Allah, you think you can hide yourself under that black cloak? The guy who's executing, has covered his face because he cannot stand. And Sarmad is saying, Allah, you think you can hide under that cloak? Because he's seeing the person who's bringing the chopping axe down. So Allah doing it. Take any one characteristic of a Brahmajnani.
Sees God in everyone.
Trying to see God in everyone. Exactly. Because just saying kan kan में भगवान है तो देख लेते हैं अभी थोड़ा जल्दी पता चल जाएगा. ये 10 रुपए दे दो मैं चलाऊं. अरे भगवान 10 रुपए ले गया क्या हुआ तेरे को? Can you not stand it? Think about that. If you see God in me and I stole your purse, then what? What's the big deal? God took your purse, let him take it. It's easier said. And Gurbani hammers that again, and look how much it is hammering the thought. Hey, it has nothing to do with the outside. Whole thing is the metamorphosis of your inner being. A paradigm shift. A way of being. It's not that I bend 10 times that way or 3 times that way. It has nothing to do with that. I give so much, I take so much. I distribute so much. How much pleasure people drive on a Thanksgiving day that they have taken so many sandwiches and distributed to them. Has it solved the hunger? Homelessness? Or what? Who's kidding whom? Well, should we not do it? No, please do it, but do it all 365 days of the year. Adopt a homeless and put him on his feet. Do something. No, but we are so much used to the window dressing that the reality disappears, and Gurbani brings us back and say, no, don't do that. You have to nari andro so. From within you have to become beautiful. And mastak mani pyar. The thought process has to change into love for all. Shobha surt sohamani sache prem apar. And understand, love cannot be conditional or limited. Apar. Apar means without limits. Because love is a quality which will never be in short supply. You may be only miser in spending it. A supply would not be. You be miser in distributing it. But supply would not be. And we have seen in this century, Mother Teresa did exactly that. Single-handedly, she showed the world that it doesn't matter what type of a child, what kind of a human being, how sick, how poor, how malnourished, it doesn't matter. How ugly, how pretty, it doesn't matter. She was able to love them, every one of them, exactly the same way. So anybody who says it's not possible, it's impractical, they don't need to look back to Jesus Christ 2,500 years ago. There are examples right here. बिन पिर पुरख न जाने साचे गुर के हेत प्यार. And the other condition, bin pir. Without him, other than him, There is no other energy that has those qualities. This is a story where in Mirabai's life again, that she was dancing and singing in front of a hut. A lot of people had gathered outside and they came to her and say, please don't make noise. She said, what do you mean? There is a Brahmgyani who has never ever seen a woman in his life. And he's being disturbed. And she said, I need to take a look at this man. I thought only Krishna was the man. Story says they could not stop her. She went with such a force and broke down the door and woke him up. He said, "Tu meri bhakti band kar de kari, tu bhakti tenu karni aaundi nahi." You are not a meditator. You are denying half of his creation. How can you be a meditator? Is woman not his creation? And you are making a claim that you have never seen one? Where did you come out of it? Wasn't that a woman? Did a woman not nurture you, nurse you, feed you, raise you? And you are sitting in condemnation of a woman? And you call yourself a saint? That's the strength of a bhagat. A meditator. A true seeker who does not judge or condemn or label anything, because all is his creation. Now, these examples are easier to deal with. What about if I was talking of Genghis Khan or Hitler or Mussolini? Now what? Now it's become very difficult. Even though they are also his creation. And a true saint will have to get to terms with that. So much of negative energy concentrated in a single place. So much hatred concentrated in a single mind. But that's his creation. And you cannot judge it. You cannot label it. You cannot run away from it. You have to accept it. It's his creation. So, there's only one. Bin purv furk na janani, sache guru ke het pya. If you really have understood the word of your guru, and you are in love with that, then understand there is only one. Those who do not accept that, who are those? Nit nis andhyari sutiye kyun per bin ran vihai. Andhyari means the one who's in darkness, the one who doesn't know this. And the mind is at sleep. Nis andhyar, nis means raat nu, jeevan de vich. In the life, the people who spend the life in darkness walk around as if they are in sleep. They have no clue about what the reality is. Kyun tir bin ran vihai. It's like that woman who is married, but the husband doesn't accept her. He never comes to her, he never praises her, he never makes any kind of relationship with her. It's spending a life like that. Pir bin ran vihai, ank jalo tan jaliyo, man tan jal bal jai. Body, mind, thought process, the whole thing is in a waste. Literally as if it is going through a slow hellfire. Sadhan kant na raviya ta birtha jo ban jaye. That woman is wasting her youth. Why? Because the husband is not accepting you. And the life is getting wasted. So, what should be done? Seje kant mein heladi suti bujh na paaye. Beautiful metaphor. He says, imagine a husband and a wife sleeping together on the same bed, but the wife is completely drunk. The husband is awake, but she's completely asleep. Is there a relationship possible? That's what is going on here. Why? Husband is here, right? I mean, he is around all of us. He's the all-pervading, isn't it? But we don't get the relationship. Why not? Because the mind-body system is asleep. It's lost in the outer sensual world. So even though he's right here, inside, outside, top, upside down, everywhere, we only have been told that he's there. We don't experience his presence because the mind-body system is not ready to perceive it, as if it's completely drunk and completely out of mind. Seje kant maheladi. Seje means the bed. Suti booj na paye. How suti per jagna? I said, what is the sleep? He said, the sleep is of the ego. I am that I am somebody, and so long you are, then he is not. That I is not letting you wake up from that to the reality. How suti pir jagna kisko pucho jaye? So how you can break that out of that? You will have to wake up out of that sleep and then do what? Satgur meli bhavasi. Wake up and find the one who has been there. And he or she would help you to do what? Nanak prem sakhai. He will teach you. He will guide you. He will put you on the path as to how to now start the process of inner journey and detach yourself from the outer journey. So in the second Ashatpadi, we have been given the characteristics of those who need to get started and those who have been there, what their characteristics are. So we'll take a pause here, and the next time when we meet, we will pick up the third Ashatpadi. With that, I thank you all for coming, and for anything that I said that offended you, I stand corrected and I apologize. And if anything touched you, take it as a word from the beyond, so that you can put to it as a proper use. Thanks once again.